Somewhere in Barcelona, a building that's been under construction for 144 years is finally finishing this year. Somewhere in West Africa, the tallest building on the continent is being built from a plan drawn up 50 years ago. And somewhere in New York, I spent 6 months walking sites exactly like this, with a 360 camera and a job title most people have never heard of. I want to show you what I saw and what most of us never get to see on any of these sites, anywhere in the world. Commercial towers in Midtown, 30 floors that look identical until you notice the small things. A bracket placed wrong, a duct misaligned by an inch. Residential high rises, every floor a different layout, every unit a different story. Renovations, where half of the building was occupied and the other half was studs and dust. Mixed use, retail, medical, you name it. I probably walked it. And the thing nobody tells you, building on paper and buildings in real life are two different animals. The camera I carried ran on platforms most folks outside the industry haven't heard of. Open Space for a progress capture and Matterport for full 3D walkthroughs. They are not magic, they are cameras and software. What makes them useful is what someone does with the data after. And that, what people do with the data, is what started getting interesting to me. The role is called a BIM Capture Technician. Walk the site, capture every floor in a 360 camera, upload it. Repeat. The output, a digital twin of a real building being built in real time. Here's what 6 months of that looks like. Every types of sites, hundreds of floors, 10,000 plus steps each day, and 2 pairs of boots. Yeah, 2 pairs of boots, RIP. When you walk enough sites, you start noticing patterns. Same coordination issues across totally different projects. Same questions from PMs who couldn't make it to the site that day. Same scramble for documentation when something went sideways. And I kept thinking, we are capturing all this data, gigabytes of it, and who is actually using it? The honest answer, not as many people as you would think. The tools were already incredible. The gap wasn't the technology, the gap was getting people to use it. That realization is what eventually led me out of the field and into where I am now. In next video, I want to talk about those softwares in much detail. I want to talk about what happens when you actually try to change how people work. Spoiler, it's harder than the technology itself. Now let's talk a little bit about World Build. The world's longest construction project finally finishes this year after 144 years. Antoni Gaudí started building Barcelona's Sagrada Familia in 1882. He died in 1926. His masterpiece has been under construction ever since. This year, 2026, it finally drops out. The 564-foot Tower of Jesus Christ becomes the Basilica's 18th and the final spire. Just in time for the 100th anniversary of Gaudí's death. When he was once asked why it was taking so long, he famously said, "My client is not in a hurry." 144 years, 6 generations of builders, one of the greatest construction stories ever told, ending in our lifetime. Africa is about to get its tallest building, and it's been 50 years in the making. At 1,381 feet and 64 floors, Tower F in Abidjan is said to become the tallest building on the entire African continent. The wild part? It was first planned over 50 years ago. Wars, political upheaval, and decades of delays kept it on the drawing board. Now it's almost done, standing next to its 5 shorter siblings, Tower A to E, that were finished back in 1980s. Imagine starting a building in 1970s and your grandkids finishing it in 2026. That's this week's World Build. Buildings that took generations. Projects older than most of us watching this. And somewhere in a field office right now, somebody's walking that site with a 360 camera, capturing history.